gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to my first impressions of the La-15/La-174. Now I say both aircraft here because, ignore the differences on the battle rating and stat cards between these two aircraft, they are the same plane. They are using exactly the same flight model, they have exactly the same handling characteristics, they are the same aircraft through and through. So testing one, you're testing both. Now, unfortunately, both these aircraft are a problem. A massive, massive, massive problem in regards to balance in jet battles. Now, recently the battle rating for aircraft was increased from 7.7 to 8.7 maximum. And this was a very good thing. This battle rating increase meant effectively that the things like the MiG-15 Biz and the F-86 F-Series Sabres, the Canair Sabres, things that are battle rank 8.7 now will no longer face low-end jets. There will no longer be MiG-15 stomping F-3 Meteors, for example. Low-end jets will not be stomped in the way that they have been in the past by ultra-high-end Korean jets. Just taking a look around the inside of the cockpit here, it is beautifully detailed and a very nice cockpit. Overall visibility is good. It does have this one rail midway through the section, the support for the canopy, but it doesn't get in the way too much. Rearward visibility is good, forward visibility is good. You can see down on a good angle. Because the wing is mounted high, you can actually see down behind yourself under the wing fairly effectively. It's nice. The overall plane is actually quite pretty. I quite like the look of this aircraft. But yes, back to balance issues. Now, this change to 8.7 max battle rank is a very good thing for jet combat. I'd actually say that jet combat really needs to still be split into two separate eras, but this works at a pinch. It's a start. But it only works if the aircraft that get battle rank increases up into the, say, 8.7, 8.3 and battle ranking 8, are aircraft that are competitive at top tier, and this is where Gaijin has made a colossal fuck up. Now, the La-15 and the La-174 on the test server were effectively using the MiG-15, not the MiG-15 Biz, the MiG-15 flight model. And this was quite comparable. When the La-15 was under development, it was built as a counter-aircraft to the MiG-15. Overall, its performance was slightly higher than the MiG-15s, but we're talking small percentages, nothing major. It flew differently. It flew more like a Sabre did. It was low altitude, high maneuverability, as opposed to high speed, high altitude interceptor that MiG-15 was. But the main reason that the La-15 was only ever produced in numbers of about 300 and was never really continued on was its complexity. It was an extremely difficult aircraft to produce, where the MiG-15, despite its performance, was very, very, very easy to make. Now, at the time, the Russian design bureaus were exceptionally good. Even, they were designing aircraft out of gulags, but the results they were getting were exceptionally high quality, but their engineering was not so great. Now, this didn't matter so much in terms of building tanks and ships. Having something that's a few degrees out here and there on a tank or a ship is only going to cause a minor problem, and most places can be fixed relatively easily after production. But a single degree change in the design or the shape of a wing can completely destroy how an aircraft handles and make it dangerous to fly. So building an aircraft that had the maximum amount of performance, that was the most simplistic to build and therefore would cause the smallest amount of issues during manufacturing, was a major thing that the USSR at the time had to take into account. As a result, the MiG-15 won. Now, I've just detected a meteor. I'm heading towards it. That is a Meteor F8. I'm attempting to close in. Now, I'll take a note of the speed up here at the moment. The La-174 and the La-15 will overheat at 100% throttle. They'll overheat in seconds and kill their engine inside of a minute if they use WEP. The only way you can fly the aircraft and not overheat is to keep it just below or just on 90% throttle. Any higher, and you're running the risk of killing your engine. The only time I was ever able to push the throttles above or up to 100% and leave it there was when I'd finally managed to achieve over 700 kilometers an hour in the aircraft. The second I was below that, flying at 100% throttle was risking killing the plane. Now, the La-15, La-174 realistic flight model, this has had a Vampire done to it. The Vampire, when it was released, was using the MiG-15 flight model on the test server, and when it was actually got onto the live server and got its first, quote-unquote, real flight model, it was actually a modified version of the F-3 Meteor flight model, which completely destroyed the Vampire's characteristics from what people were expecting. And on top of that, it was tiered at the time at level 18, so it was marked as a competitive aircraft with a flight model that just wasn't. Same thing has happened with the La-15 and the La-174. This is tiered at, the La-174 is battle rank 8.3, the 15 is 8.7, but they're using a modified version of the MiG-9 flight model. Now, this causes a twofold problem with Russian matchmaking. One, the MiG-9 is not a competitive aircraft in any way, shape or form against high-end F-86 Sabres. Even Panthers will stomp all over this thing. The MiG-9 is best competitive with something like the F-80C. But the MiG-9s have also been tiered up to 8 and 8.3. They are tiered up into high-level jet combat. Now, this means that when somebody throws together, or the matchmaker throws together a match, and there are MiG-9s, LA-15s, and MiG-15s in queue, you get a lineup that looks like this one. Now, this team has one MiG-15, not a Biz, just a MiG-15. My La-174, another LA-15, which I was keeping toe-to-toe with earlier on, and two MiG-9s, 1-9, 1-9 late. The enemy team consists of a Meteor F-8, two F-86 F-25 Sabres, an F-86 F-2 Sabre, and an F-86A. The only competitive aircraft on the Russian team is the MiG-15, and it has to take on 5 highly competitive jets. Now, I'm going evasive because I've had an F-25 drop in on my tail. There's a F-86A in front of me that I'm trying to get a manoeuvre on, and there is that Meteor which is still lurking around above engaging the MiG-15 at the moment, but the MiG-15 loses that battle, so, and there we go. I've just taken my first hit from an F-25 that I didn't realise was there. It's just gunned me down from behind. There was no chance for this team ever. Now, the other thing to mention here is that overheat from earlier on. That is a test. In real life, 100% throttle was takeoff power only. Cruising at about 80 to 90 was accurate for high-speed flight. The problem is, much like the 109s in patch 1.37, suffering from compressibility that other aircraft they were fighting against did not have, this patch, the Russian jets have all been hit with correct engine operation, but none of the other jets have, and none of the Americans have been. This has resulted in queues in realistic. When I was trying to get into this match, the American team had 96 aircraft in the US queue. There were 10 aircraft in the German queue, and there were 6 aircraft between the Japanese, British, and Russian queues. So, because the aircraft have been tiered and the performance testing has been put onto just the Russian aircraft, this has effectively broke all Era 5 matchmaking again. Now, I was trying to work out why Gaijin would have done this again, because this is the second patch in a row where there's just been nearly no purpose to flying Era 5 aircraft, and this was the patch that was supposed to fix Era 5 aircraft, and they've fucked it again. And I was talking to one of my subscribers, Drazimo, and he made the comment that, you know, at the moment, still over 90% of players only play arcade. Very few actually play realistic battles, and even less play simulation. And that got me to thinking, how does the La-174 and the La-15 perform in jet combat in arcade? So I've put the La-174 in my lineup. I put 2 biplanes in next to it. I'm not planning on using them. I've just got to take 3 aircraft into an arcade match. I'm going in with basically 1 jet. Let's see how we do. Critical hit. We've got some solid hits. Trying to follow, but come on, close in. Now, as you can see here, this is a whole different ball game now. Once you stepped into arcade, once you manage to get the La-174 or the La-15 wound up above 800 kilometers an hour, you can effectively keep it there. Its energy retention is that high that there is I don't think I ever dropped below 700 kilometers an hour once I got this plane wound up, unless I wanted to. Its maneuverability is incredible. Now, keep in mind everything you're seeing here. This La-15 and my 174 are effectively stock aircraft. They will have no upgrades at all. They're brand new. They're freshly unlocked. But the F-86F models, the MiG-15s that you see in arcade, they've likely all got upgrades. So just keep that in mind, that the LAs you see here are probably the only stock aircraft in this battle. So I've just taken my first kill, took out the poor guy's La-15. I didn't pick it for any particular reason. He flew in front of my guns. So let's bring this thing back around. Look at the turn circle on it. In arcade, this thing will outturn Sabres when it's stock. It is just awesome, and its control is... it's pinpoint accurate. I can bring this thing easily within feet or closer to the side of the mountain with no fear at all of accidentally putting it in. Just clearing back to my forces. I've got a big enemy swarm behind me. I want to make sure I've got some distance. Now I've bled my speed down past 500, or just around 500 now. But that's because I've been climbing my way back out of the trees where I was earlier on. Now I'm looking at this F9F. I'm going to have to give up a lot more speed to try and catch it. This thing is... it's a long way up there for a burst climb, and I'm not sure this thing has just enough energy retention yet to get it. Try some long distance snipes, but nothing's going to hit. Drop the nose back down. Oop. MiG-15 takes a crack, roll through its guns, take it into a dive, get my airspeed back up. Nick into the cloud cover so I disappear. Now I would have just broken contact with him because he's broken contact with me, and this crew of mine is very skilled. Another MiG-15 coming in. That is a German one. It took me a little while to identify what it was until I realised that that's the German Iron Cross sitting on the end of it. This is another freshly upgraded MiG-15, or unlocked MiG-15. Again, back into the vertical. Don't quite get into a position to get the lead shot, but I get in bloody close. Effectively what you're seeing here is the performance gap that is breaking and the realistic battles due to over-tiering or under-tiering of particular aircraft, mismatching of flight models and incomplete flight models. The arcade, as much as a lot of people don't like it, this is where the competitive gameplay seems to be for jets at the moment. And this is why, when I flicked up the queues for arcade, there were literally 20 to 30 people in every nation across the board trying to get battles in arcade jets. With the normalised flight models, all the problems that realistic is suffering at the moment don't exist. Everything is entirely competitive with one another. You know, get a sneaky shot in on this Sabre, he never sees me coming, fireballed. Beautiful second kill. The combat here is fast and interesting. I know a lot of people, when you want to have seriously competitive combat, don't like arcade because it's too simplistic. It normalises everything down. It's just, a lot of people, especially people that watch my videos, probably don't like it. I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time here in jets from now on in the future, because after the aggravation of the last two patches, having, you know, every time Gaijin fixes something in jet combat at the moment, they seem to break two things to make up for the one fix. It's infuriating that they just seem to be unable to get it right. And then I step in on a brand new single jet aircraft, completely no unlocks. It's not even an 8.7 jet, and I'm taking on 8.7 jets. And I had a ball in this match. I do only get these 2 kills. But I'm getting side shots taken at me by MiG-15s. I'm dodging and avoiding F-86 F2s here. Barrel rolling my way through valleys. This is an absolute shit ton of fun. And also notice the number of people that are in this match. This was 11 versus 11 and no bots. No bots at all. This match could have been filled quite easily. I think it may have been an issue with particular aircraft that people were picking. The matchmaker was trying to make it fair due to various levels of upgrade being put in. A lot of new aircraft were in this match. Things like that German MiG-15 Biz, my La-175. There was an La-15 floating around that I killed earlier on. Actually, I think there was 2 La-15 up in this battle. Get some shots in on this B-17. Shooting like crap there. Oh, take a side hit and get fireballed. Come on, counter. Tick down, tick down. If I can keep this thing flying fast enough, the fire won't burn out the plane, and maybe the ticket counter will come to an end, and I won't actually get shot down at all for this match. Come on. There it is. There's the end of the match. No death. So, 4th place, 2 kills, no deaths. Well, technically, no deaths. And a lot of fun. There was no time where I felt anything in the arcade battle was unbalanced, or broken, or not operating correctly. And this annoys me a little bit more, to be honest. Gaijin was looking at putting in a vector indicator in patch 1.38. And the idea was to try and move people from arcade into realistic battles. Now, I've just flown a realistic battle, and it's entirely broken and completely fucked due to over-tiering of aircraft, incomplete flight models, and general bad operation of realistic battles. Then I go into arcade, and everything feels balanced, fine, and most importantly, fun. Gaijin doesn't need to do stupid little gimmicky things with vector indicators or shit to move people out of arcade and into realistic battles. What they need to do is fix the damn problems. This aircraft, the MiG-9s, the entire jet matchmaker at the moment, is a problem that needs to be fixed and sorted, and soon. I am a realistic battle player, and I'm very seriously considering moving all of my Era 5 combat back to arcade, simply to avoid all the broken and unbalanced bullshit that exists there at this time. No vector indicator would put me back into realistic battles. Nothing would get me to move back into realistic battles if I choose to make this decision, because it's not fixing the problem, and the problem is the reason why people aren't moving up. It's not just that there is a skill wall between arcade and realistic, and that does need to be addressed. It's the total lack of balance, especially in Era 5 jet combat, that still is not fixed, and nobody is going to move there until it's there. Those that are still playing there are only playing there because they loathe arcade on such a level that they won't go back. But getting back to the core subject of this video, what about the La-15 and the La-174? Well, in realistic battles, they're in the same boat as the MiG-9. Absolutely not worth flying, not worth spending your time on, not worth wasting your time on. They're broken, they're over-tiered, they're screwed. They really are. In arcade, however, they are a lot of fun. My recommendation would be, if you've got these planes unlocked and you want to go out for a quick blast, these things are really competitive, fun little aircraft, and with upgrades they're going to get more and more dangerous in arcade. These things will be an absolute ball to fly down there. And that's pretty much my standpoint on them in their current state. I will take another look at these aircraft again when Gaijin gets around to putting a correct and operational flight model in them. Until then, guys, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.